and welcome to this month's edition of the Inside Report. I'm Constance Blackburn.
And I'm Erina. This month, we'll take an inside look at the County Auditor's Election Division, and we'll be talking about homelessness in Kitsap County. But first, here are the headlines.
A new playground recently opened at the Silverdale Waterfront Park. After 25 years of use, the play equipment at the park finally succumbed to the heavy use and harsh weather that blows in from Dyes Inlet. Commissioner Ed Wolf christened the park during a ribbon-cutting ceremony March 26th. As one of the area's most popular outdoor parks, we wanted to reinvest to make it, once again, an outstanding, long-lasting family playground, Commissioner Wolf said. The County Parks Department found equipment that works for multiple ages and abilities and creates fun for a single child or a whole classroom. It includes a compound fantasy ship for children 2 to 8 and a climbing dome for older children. Parks Director Jim Dunwitty said, "Updating and improving our county parks is an investment in the health and well-being of families. Studies show that outdoor play enhances children's physical abilities and socialization. You can visit the new playground at the Silverdale Waterfront Park located in Old Town Silverdale."
What a great improvement to our park system, Constance. Speaking of improvements, the Department of Public Works is looking for your suggestions to help improve our road system. Every year, Public Works prepares a 6-year Transportation Improvement Program, or the TIP as it is referred to. The TIP is used to prioritize road improvement projects. Public Works recently embarked on a selection process that determines which new roadway project to include in this year's TIP. Project ideas are scored and ranked using set objective criteria. The criteria consider safety and capacity needs, structural conditions, environmental issues, non-motorized needs, and funding availability. Once the top projects are identified, a formal public hearing is held to review the prioritized projects for the TIP. Local residents can submit their ideas using the link shown on the screen through May 27, 2016. You can learn more about the program by reading a recent news release at the website on the bottom of the screen. In that release, you will find a list of community meetings you can attend to learn more about the TIP process and submit project ideas.
I didn't know that we could propose projects. Thanks for the information, Erina. Sometimes finding an address on our roads can be challenging. The county's Department of Community Development has a new service that helps make that easier. Homeowners can now purchase blue address signs through community development. Blue address signs increase visibility and help those who are trying to find your address, said Jeff Rowe, acting director for DCD. The signs are highly reflective and help make your address visible both day and night. The signs cost $9.25 each. You can order the signs by calling Kitsap 1 at 337-5777. You can pay for the signs in person at the County Administration Building or online. Kitsap 1 can provide the website for payments. Once you pay the cost, it takes about 3 to 5 days to produce the sign. They can be picked up in Port Orchard or shipped for an additional cost. The signs are part of a larger effort to correct addressing discrepancies throughout the county. Some addresses are inconsistent, confusing, and others are out of sequence. The Address Correction Project aims to make it easier to navigate with GPS systems, as well as making it easier for emergency responders to find your location. You can learn more about that project at the website shown below.
Village Greens opened for another golf season last month. This year, they are offering a special program, First Tee of South Puget Sound. The program offers a low-cost youth development program focusing on teaching the game of golf while teaching life skills. The program is designed for youth ages 6 to 18. Classes begin April 25th. You can sign up at the website shown below. There's a lot going on at the county fairgrounds in April. The Kitsap Pumas season got underway earlier this month. The Pumas compete in the United Soccer League's Professional Development League with home games at Gordon Field on the fairgrounds. They are 4-time winners of the Northwest Division and qualified for the U.S. Open Cup Soccer Championship 6 times. Their next home match is Saturday, April 16. You can find their complete schedule, ticket information, and more information about the Pumas at the website shown below. Just Between Friends is a huge kids sale at President's Hall, April 15 to 17. You'll find all the clothing and children items your family needs. You'll be able to fill your closets for the cost of just a few new outfits. Admission is $3 with free admission for those under 18. For more information, visit the website shown below.
Today we have a special guest joining us. It's Natalie Kuzmic from the Department of Community Development. She's their Outreach and Education Coordinator, and she's here to tell us about Building Safety Month. Natalie, what can you tell us?
All right, Constance, thank you for having me today. The whole month of May, we're celebrating Building Safety Month for the Community Development Department. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to have a fair, we're going to be providing some clinics, and then we're going to be all over the community the entire month of May, really educating the public on why it's important to build safely and to code.
Can you tell us more about the clinics you're going to have?
Yes, absolutely. So last year we had a deck building clinic, and it was such a great show of people that we decided to bring it back one more time. So we're going to have a deck building clinic and then some others as well.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us, Natalie.
Thank you.
And I really want to thank Erina for filling in on this month's episode. It was such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
And now we'll head to the Elections Office for an inside look on how your ballot gets counted and why your vote matters in this important election year. Here I am at the County Administration Building right in front of our ballot drop box. Today we're going to head inside the Elections Office and learn about what happens when you cast your vote. So now I'm here inside the Elections Office at the county, and I'm here with Kyle Joyce. Kyle, explain to me a little bit about your position and what the office is responsible for.
Sure. I'm the elections manager here at the county. So my role is I'm responsible for the elections division. There's 7 of us, and we're responsible for all aspects of voter registration and election processing. So creating the ballot, mailing them out, and then processing once we get them back from the voters.
Wonderful. I'm really excited to learn more about that, especially in this presidential election year.
Yeah.
So you saw, we're here inside the ballot drop, and I dropped off my ballot. Now tell me how you're going to make sure that my voice counts.
You bet, you bet. So you'll notice we have our secure ballot drop box, and there's a secrecy seal, or a security seal, I should say. And so the first step is to go ahead and get that off of there. That way we know that we check the number, and we make sure that no one's been in there that we didn't know about. And it is locked, so then the next step is we go ahead and we unlock the box. And we always do this in pairs. There's another one of my colleagues off camera. We're never alone with ballots. We want to make sure that we don't ever let people be by themselves with them. So we gather them up, and then from there we head over and we organize them, and then we run them through our machine to sort them out.
I'm excited to see that process.
So let's go ahead and head over that way.
Perfect. All right, Kyle, so you got everything from the ballot box. Tell me what the next step is.
So once we put the ballots in order, make sure they're facing the right direction, right side up, we have a high-speed camera and a barcode reader, and it's capturing the barcode on the ballot and also the voter's signature.
All right, Kyle, so we've gotten all done with the machine over here, and they're coming to this area. Explain to me what's going on here.
You bet. Once the signature's been captured, our database is able to link the signature on your ballot with a signature that we have on file for you. And so what the staff is doing here is they're comparing the signature on file to the signature on their ballot. Everyone has had signature identification training provided by the Washington State Patrol. And so they are, if the signature matches, no issue. If it doesn't match, they'll send that into a challenge category, and we'll reach out to the voter to update their signature.
So to be really clear, this isn't happening digitally per se. These are human eyes checking these signatures, really making sure things look legit.
Every single signature is checked by a human. That's correct.
Wonderful. And what happens next after this portion?
After the signatures have been checked and the batches have been complete, the ballots actually go back through our sorter. At that point, they're sorted into their consolidated precinct, which we'll explain a little bit more later. And the ballots that have a signature issue, either they weren't signed at all or the signature doesn't match, they go into their own special bin where they're then dealt with by the staff further.
So we're done with the signature check. You said it's going back through the machine. Explain to me why.
You bet. We've organized the county into 11 areas. We call them consolidated precincts. And what that allows us to do is if there's a recount or any sort of an issue, it narrows the area we need to focus on. And so what the machine then does is once the signature check process is complete, the machine will sort them into their individual consolidated precinct and also send ballots that have a signature issue, such as no signature or a non-matching signature, into a separate bin as well to allow further processing.
Interesting. So they've been scanned, sig-checked, sorted. What now?
Now we're going to open.
Okay, Kyle, so they're opening the envelopes now.
Yeah, you'll notice that they're taking the secrecy sleeve and ballot out of the envelope and keeping them separate to ensure voter privacy.
Okay.
So they'll open each and every envelope first, and then once that's complete, then we'll actually remove the ballots from the secrecy sleeve to ensure we don't know how you voted your ballot.
So now we're here in a completely different room. Tell me a little bit about that.
This is our ballot tabulation room. And you'll notice that it's a completely separate room. It's got secure access, there's video cameras monitoring the entrance, and it's actually not in any way connected to any outside data source like the internet. So it's completely off the grid to ensure we don't have any issues there. And so this is where we scan the ballots in. Michael will go ahead and begin scanning and show you how our scanners work. So the high-speed scanner is able to capture both sides of the ballot at the same time as it scans through, and it's looking for the target areas. It's looking for that you voted within in those specific target areas, so it knows who you voted for. Now, if you happen to vote outside those target areas, we have a different process to ensure your vote is still counted, but it can't go through this. It's a much slower process to ensure that your vote actually is counted since you didn't mark in the target area.
Sure.
That's why it helps us a lot if people actually mark the box as we ask them to do it.
And use pen, right? Not enough.
Definitely. Pen is we need pen, pencil. There's a risk it won't be picked up by the machine. So we have a very slow process for pencil as well, because our goal is to make sure that every vote is counted, whether somebody votes the right way or not.
Sure, but it sounds like there are definitely measures citizens can take to make that automated process run a little smoother.
Absolutely, absolutely. We actually added a pictogram to our ballot a couple elections ago, and we saw the incidence of pencil go from about 4.5% down to about 1%. So it definitely showed people they're trying. They just had to get the message out a little bit.
Sure.
So while we scan throughout the election cycle, we don't actually tabulate until 8 o'clock on election night. And that's actually a separate machine on the other side of the room. So the data is taken from these machines over there with it's almost like a USB thumb drive. And so we're continuing to do that throughout the election, bring the data over, and then at 8 o'clock on election night is when we actually tabulate the votes and then post them to the internet.
So interesting. Thanks for letting us have an inside look.
Thanks for coming.
I'm here now with Steve Gardner. Steve, explain to me your position with the office.
My title is Education and Outreach Coordinator, and so most of my job is trying to help the public understand the voting process and walk through it easily. Whatever questions they might have, I kind of see it as my job to help folks get those answers.
And I think really the timing is right, isn't it? This upcoming presidential election seems to have some confusing elements to it.
It has created a lot of confusion because it goes against Washington tradition. We are a very independent state. People don't like to necessarily identify with party, or there's more people here who would rather just declare their independence, so to speak. In other states, you can register by party, and in fact, in other states, it is almost a requirement to register by party. You declare you're Republican or Independent or Democrat or Libertarian or whatever. Here, we don't do that, and so people see this presidential primary coming up, and they're going to be asked to make a declaration, and it's going to be confusing because it goes against tradition.
Absolutely. So in this primary election, we're going to get a ballot that says I have to choose one of those parties.
If you want your vote to count, yes, you have to say, you have to sign what's called a declaration, and it's basically saying, the language is a little different for each party, but the declarations essentially say, I consider myself either a Republican or Democrat, you pick one or the other, and that I won't be participating in the nominating process of the other party or any other party, and you put that with your signature. Every other election, you can vote for whoever you want. In the regular primary, you'll be able to vote for whoever you want, whether it says they prefer Republican or Democrat or not, doesn't matter, you vote however you want to. In this one, you've got to pick a party, and then once you get the ballot, you've got to pick somebody from the party that you signed on the outside of the ballot.
So if I declare that I'm a, say, Democrat, but I vote Republican, it doesn't count?
It won't count, and it's important to know how that happens. We don't know how anybody votes. What we do know is what you signed. And so if you sign, what's going to happen is when the ballots arrive, we're going to separate the Republican signed envelopes from the Democrat signed envelopes.
Okay.
And so when an envelope gets pulled from a Democratic envelope, then the vote has to be from a Democratic side or it won't count.
Oh, wow. That's so interesting.
It's unusual, and I am sure between now and Election Day we're going to get a lot of questions, and probably even past Election Day we'll get a lot of questions.
I want to thank Kyle and Steve and the rest of the Elections Office staff for giving us an inside look at how our ballots are processed. And now we're going to head to Bremerton to have a closer look at what Kitsap County is doing to work for the homeless in our community. I'm here in Bremerton at the Norm Dix Government Building, where the Housing and Homelessness Program is housed for Kitsap County. We're here today to learn a lot more about homelessness in Kitsap County and some of the programs that are available, as well as ways that you can get involved. Here with more information is Kirsten Jewell, the Housing and Homelessness Program Coordinator for Kitsap County. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
What can you tell us about the number of people experiencing homelessness in Kitsap County?
Well, Constance, unfortunately, there are a lot of households in our county who are just really struggling to make ends meet. They're working hard, but they are just struggling to put food on the table and get their rent paid. In fact, in 2013, the Kitsap Public Health District estimated that about 10% of our citizens in Kitsap County are living below the poverty line, and 14% of children are living below the poverty line. Wow. So what that means is that there's about 25,000 people in our county. If you're a household of one, you're earning less than $12,000. If you're a household of four, that's a little over $24,000. So it's really tough for those folks. And then when they get one more thing piled on top, one unexpected expense, that's often what pushes them into homelessness. We also know that over the course of a year, many households in our community are experiencing homelessness or housing instability. In fact, in 2015, about 3,200 unique households were reaching out and saying that they needed assistance with housing resources. That was about 6,000 individuals. And of those, about 1,000 of them told us that they were actually living on the street or living outside. But I think it's important to remember that all of these numbers are really only part of what's happening, and each person, each household really has their own unique story.
We moved here from California, sunny California, and it was it was a big transition for me. We came in February of last year, and in the process of coming here, we thought we had a place to come to. Mm-hmm. The people that picked us up, her nephew, told us, he said, well, we got a place for you to live, and you can transition here, and everything will be okay. Well, we got here and found ourselves having to leave the place where we came to in 5 days. And we had used all our money to get here. Sure. And I'm a vet, so we immediately got paranoid, okay? And I started looking for avenues. We went through Catholic services. We came here. We would come here and eat lunch and stuff, have breakfast every morning. And during this time, we became so homeless that I had to pay for somewhere for her to stay because I didn't want her on the street. Mm-hmm. So I paid these people to allow her to live with her until I found a place for us.
It was such a stress factor for us, and our marriage was almost on the rocks, you know. Charles and I have through the grace of God, you know, we've united and said we just got to take care of this, and we got to do it on our own. We can't really expect anybody but God and us to do it. But we did have help from the Salvation Army. I was automatically gung-ho about becoming a soldier because it's been a calling to me all my life.
Can you tell me a little bit about your story?
Homeless because I was getting in trouble with the law. I'm staying out of trouble now. I'm about to go home and be with my kid. I got a little one at home, so I don't go home if I'm getting in trouble. That's pretty much my situation out here. Salvation Army, I've been coming here since I was little.
And you feel like they've helped you a lot?
Yeah.
Good.
They helped me get clean and get off the streets.
I've actually been on the streets for a year now. I was sleeping bag concrete for 8 months out here. And then I got a tent out in Brownsville, and I had that for a little bit, and then the shelter opened up here. And honestly, I was getting loaded. And this place got me clean.
Good.
I'm fighting for my kids. I'm doing good now. And this place, if it wasn't for this place, honestly, I'd either be dead or about to be.
How did I end up homeless? A lack of housing, and substance abuse issues and stuff like that, and a lack of places to go and help. So.
And how are you doing now?
I'm doing a lot better now that there's programs available out there for homeless people and stuff. Currently I've been clean a couple months and off the streets here, thanks to Salvation Army. I have a place to go and everything. They even helped me out finding me a place to go after I leave here too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Tim.
Okay.
With so many people in our community in need of housing assistance, what is Kitsap County doing to help?
We have a great group of different social service organizations that are working in our homeless response system. But one of the challenges with having so many different organizations is that we all need to work together. So one of the roles that the Housing and Homelessness Program plays is to do strategic planning with our stakeholders around how to best work on homeless and affordable housing issues. So every couple of years, the county leads an effort to update or develop a homeless housing plan. In fact, in 2015, in November, our county commissioners just approved a brand new homeless housing plan. It includes about 60 individual action steps that we believe are essential to be able to really truly make homelessness rare, brief, and one time. We also brief the commissioners regularly on issues of homelessness and housing affordability, and they look at different policy decisions that they can make and land use regulations that can help support our community partners to implement new programs and develop more affordable housing.
I think the thing that the role that Kitsap County has played that's been so critical is that the staff there has not been the type of folks to sit back in their administrative offices and just process paper. They are at the table. They're helping bring partners together. They're listening to solutions. They're helping us find funding for those solutions. I mean, they're integral to the coordination that happens. So we need them. I mean, they've been a critical part of our solution here.
What are some other ways that the program works on homelessness?
We developed our very own Housing Solutions Center. So now anybody who is experiencing housing instability or homelessness can go to this one-stop place. I'll get a basic intake and assessment, and then I'll get referred out to all of the different resources that they might be eligible for. So if you or anybody you know is experiencing housing instability or homelessness, your very first call should be to the Housing Solutions Center. They have offices in South Kitsap, Bremerton, and North Kitsap to make it really convenient for people to be able to come in. And they were able to help about 3,000 households last year get access to the kinds of resources that they need.
Another great example of how Kitsap County is coordinating with other local agencies is the Homes for All Who Served initiative. We're going to talk with Stacy James, the program coordinator.
Kitsap County is home to over 38,000 veterans. It is such a desirable place to live with its spectacular coastline, the forests, warm, welcoming communities, plus all the amenities we have for active duty veterans and their families. Unfortunately, it is not immune to veterans' homelessness. Our point-in-time count in 2015 horribly underestimated the number of homeless veterans we had in Kitsap County, which adversely impacted the amount of federal resources and funding we receive for our veterans. This year, 2016, actually a coalition of volunteers assisted in the point-in-time count, and we gathered more reliable data, a more realistic count of our veterans. Right now, the numbers are not final, but roughly about 100 to 110 homeless veterans in Kitsap County. Even though the outlook is very optimistic, we need to remain vigilant in our efforts to count our homeless veterans, identify the risk factors resulting in homelessness, ensure our veterans are receiving the services and resources they're entitled to, and continue to engage our community partners and our stakeholders to end veterans' homelessness. The Kitsap County Veterans Advisory Board, comprised of community veteran volunteers, keeps our county commissioners informed of the risk and needs of our indigent veterans and the programs and services Kitsap County offers our veterans.
A couple of years ago, the federal government decided that we should really focus on ending homelessness for veterans specifically. And Mayor Lent of the city of Bremerton, the city of Bainbridge Island, and our county commissioners all really got behind this initiative. We put together a meeting where we had, for the very first time, all of the state, local, and federal veterans housing providers in the same room to talk about what we could do around ending veterans homelessness. We call this initiative the Homes for All Who Served initiative. We've been able to implement a number of exciting new programs to really assist veterans over the last year, and one of those that I want to talk about is called the Veterans Housing Options Group. This is an opportunity for any veteran who's experiencing homelessness or housing instability to come to a drop-in open house once a week. It's Mondays at 1 o'clock at Kitsap Community Resources on Park Street. Any veteran can just stop in and talk to all of the different housing providers there that can connect them with resources that might be specifically appropriate for their needs. So we're really excited about this. It's been tremendously successful in our county, and we're really able to help a lot of veterans.
Kirsten, this really sounds like a very ambitious project. What is the overall goal?
We have set an ambitious goal. We decided that our goal is to have all veterans housed by Veterans Day 2016, and we've made a lot of progress toward this goal. But I have to tell you, we are having some concern. We're having a really hard time finding enough rental units to put formerly homeless veterans into. So we're looking to partner with more landlords in our local communities who are willing to offer some units for veterans. So if there's any landlords out there in the community who are interested in helping us with this effort, we encourage them to contact the Housing Solutions Center and get more information about how they can help get all of our veterans under a roof.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
I have Doug Washburn here, the Director of Human Services here at Kitsap County. Doug, explain to me how the Housing and Homelessness Program, as well as the Veterans Initiative, fit into the other work that your department does.
The Housing and Homelessness Program is an important part of our department because we want to make sure that, along with the Veterans Homelessness Initiative, is tied in with the other services we have available within the department. And what I mean by that, we want to make sure that we're coordinated so we don't redo things or we don't duplicate services that are already being done. For example, a big part of the homelessness, the way that we're looking at it, is we want to make sure that people have access to jobs that we have. Through our Workforce Development Council and our workforce centers that we have in Kitsap County, we do have jobs available for people. We have people that are there that are skilled at working with homeless individuals to make sure that they can apply for jobs, get the training they need, have clothes they need for interviews when they go out on jobs. We also want to make sure that some of our other services we have available, like homeless or developmental disabilities, for example. We have a developmental disabilities program. If we run into a family that's homeless that has a son or a daughter that has developmental disabilities, we want to make sure that they're connected with services immediately, because it's very important that these folks get services right away when they need them. We also have substance abuse, chemical dependency, and mental health services. Just as not all homeless people are alike, but we want to make sure that people, if they are homeless and they are experiencing a mental health or chemical dependency issue, that they have access to those services right away too. We have excellent service providers in our county, and we have an excellent connection network to make sure that people can get into those services immediately when they're needed.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for joining us, Doug.
Thanks for having me, Constance.
If citizens are interested in getting involved, the 3 key things that you can do are to donate, volunteer, and really just get knowledgeable about the issues. There's a great brochure available on our county website with information about organizations where you can volunteer or donate items, and a lot of other really good information. I want to thank everybody at Human Services for joining us today, and all of the citizens that we were able to interview and local organizations that we visited today to really give us a better look at homelessness in Kitsap County. We're very proud of all the work that everyone is doing to work together to end homelessness. Thanks for joining us.
That was a very interesting report, Constance. It really makes me think about the challenges faced by the homeless in Kitsap County.
It really does. And that wraps up this edition of the Inside Report. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next month.